Okay, good evening. Welcome to the North Wasco County School Board meeting for Thursday, August 21st. I'm Betsy Hagee. I'm the chair of this board. And so welcome. I'm glad you came out on a nice warm Thursday evening. The meeting is called to order at what, 6:02? We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so let's all rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. The district mission, vision, and values. The mission is our schools are a place where children belong. Each student is known by name, strength, and need, and provided the education opportunities to achieve success. Our vision is educating each student to the highest standards while motivating them to reach their fullest potential and graduating them to college, career, and life ready. Our values are striving for equity, inclusion, belonging, diversity, engaging the community, supporting the whole child, promoting and achieving academic excellence. We would like to welcome Nancy Diaz Sanchez, and Nancy will be our student representative from the high school. Is that right, Nancy? Okay, so I have the privilege of swearing you in. Yeah. So if you will stand, I believe you have a copy also. And I am confident that you can read this yourself, so I will encourage you to do so.
Okay. I, Nancy Diaz Sanchez, will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States, the state of Oregon and the laws thereof, and the policies of the North Wasco County School District, and will discharge the duties as student representative on the North Wasco County School District Board to the best of my ability.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nancy, for joining us. We look forward to getting your opinion and input. Very good. Item number 4 is to review and revise the agenda. Is there any, I'm asking board members now, is there anything that you feel like we need to be talking about tonight that you did not see on the agenda? If so, now's a good time. Great, okay. And I don't think we had any public comment sign-ups. Did we? Okay, we may have some public comment. We have a sheet here, so one, y'all get ready. Thank you. Well, actually this comment, okay, so I think this is, Sherry, is that right? Okay. You kind of crossed your name out here, so it's a little uncertain, but you do want to comment on one of the agenda items, and that is the cell phone policy, which we will be considering tonight. So, thank you. Do I need to read out the whole? No, okay. Okay, about 3 minutes, if you would.
I'll try to go fast.
Introduce yourself, too, and tell us who you are.
Yes, I will. So I'm Sherry Kilgore. I'm the principal here at the middle school. And I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight about the pilot program for the cell phones that the Dalles Middle School implemented last year. And since this is my first time presenting to the new board, I would like to share a little bit about my discipline philosophy, as I believe it's important for our partnership in making the Dalles Middle School as great a place for our students as possible. For me, discipline is not about punishment, it's about teaching. Discipline, accountability, and meaningful consequences are essential for middle school students' development, academic success, social, emotional growth, and future readiness. Punishment focuses only on negative behavior and compliance through fear and shame. It might stop the behavior in the short term, but doesn't create an intrinsic desire to make the right choices. Students may learn to avoid punishment, but not understand the true impact of their actions. Consequences, on the other hand, are about learning. They teach responsibility, help students recognize the effect of their actions, and encourage them to make better choices moving forward. My approach emphasizes logical consequences such as you break it, you fix it, and restorative practices that help repair harm and restore relationships. At the center of it all is relationship building, which I believe is the single most important part of discipline. What I want for the Dalles Middle School is a school where staff and students feel safe, teachers can teach, students can learn, and everyone feels connected. I want our Wildcats to have the best middle school experience possible, for parents to feel confident sending their students here, and for our community to feel proud of. By consistently applying logical consequences, embracing restorative practices, and holding students accountable, we don't just address behavior, we teach life skills, build character, and help shape amazing young people. Now let's talk cell phones. So last year, the Dalles Middle School piloted a cell phone policy called Off and Away All Day during the 24-25 school year, which two of our teachers are going to talk after me to share some important data with you. The rollout of Off and Away All Day was a tremendous success, driven by the incredible dedication, support, and accountability of our teaching staff and the opportunity to try our idea being supported by district office. And I also want to note that Off and Away All Day, the way the middle school did it, is going to look very different at an elementary or a high school level. The Executive Order 2509, Section 3E states, allowed actions may not authorize or otherwise result in a student losing instructional time, which includes suspension and expulsion, which was part of our discipline policy last year. This directive is frustrating, especially when our own data demonstrates that the practices we had in place were in fact effective. Because the state of Oregon now requires districts to adopt new policies by January 1 with restrictions on the types of consequences that can be used, we have been restructuring our approach to this matrix. So for the 25-24 school year, we have made the corrections to match what the state is requiring of us. Although this state order feels like a step backwards from last year's effective approach, with the support of the district leadership, we will stay focused on accountability, growth, and creating a great environment for our Wildcat students and staff. Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry. Sherry, do you feel like the step back will erode how you operate this year, the success of the policy? Are you going to have new challenges as a result? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
We spent a lot of time with the rewording, and it'll be okay. But I think it is a step back. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder, Carolyn, if we have written a letter to Governor Kotek, or if we have written or given input to the rulemaking group and talked about that.
I believe several of us superintendents have expressed concerns at that level, as in terms of like implementation and the rulemaking process. I don't know about input into the rulemaking process yet because they haven't told us when that's going to be happening.
Sherry, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for representing the Dalles Middle School. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. Oh, you had 3 people. Oh, I only had 1 sign up. Okay. You got another one? Sorry, paperwork. Yeah, come up and enter. Oh, look at this. Oh, okay. Very good. Okay. Now, continuing agenda items. Agenda item only public comment. And so these are all cell phone policy comments. Oh, we got Sherry. Check. So we have introduce yourself and go ahead.
Hello, my name is Elisa Long. I teach 7th and 8th grade science here at the Dalles Middle School. What I have for you is data. We were a pilot school last year for an off and away all day cell phone policy like Sherry mentioned, but I'm a science girl, so here's the data. So we have data going back to 2022-2023 school year. I have the data tables that show the numbers. So we have just rote numbers of first offense, second offense, and 3 or more offenses by school year. And then I went and took those that data and made a lovely little graph for you. So you can very, very clearly see the difference in the trend from 2022-2023 school year and 2023-2024 school year, where we had 171, 217 first offenses, to last year with our off and away all day policy, we ended up with only 97 first offenses and only 5 3 or more offenses for the whole school year. I do want to note that the 2023-2024 school year looks a lot different because for some reason it reset every trimester. So that data is a little bit skewed, but I wanted to provide you all of the data uncombined, and then I combined it just so you could see the full numbers. But that data is a little bit different because it was tracked different than it was in 2022 and 2024, 2025. Our key takeaways as a staff, like it was a huge reduction in cell phone incidences, huge reduction. If you keep in mind that each incident of a cell phone violation requires contact home, when there were 217 first offenses, that means that teachers are having to contact home 217 times. If you figure that it takes about 5 minutes, and that's very conservative, teachers, yes. So if we assume it takes just 5 minutes to look up contact information in PowerSchool, draft the email, send the email, that's over 18 hours of staff time that was spent just on first offense calls because of cell phones in our schools. So to take that from 217 down to 97, just in terms of manpower and the usage of teacher time is huge. That's huge. I can also say just anecdotally from my perspective, when kids have cell phones in their pockets and they don't want to get caught because they don't want to get their phone taken away, they have to go to the bathroom all the time. And so kids are out of your classroom constantly. So just the number of minutes that were not missed last year from kids going because their phone buzzed in their pocket and they don't want to take it out in the classroom, so they're going to ask to go to the bathroom so that they can check their phone in the bathroom instead. The instructional time that was not missed last year compared to previous years is huge. The focus of students was huge, just an improved presence and productivity in class was just completely different last year. I also spoke to Hannah Gutierrez, one of the guidance counselors here at the middle school, in prep for this, and she said that while it's difficult to extrapolate exact data for issues that are caused by cell phones that end up in the counseling office, she said that hands down, she would have classified the number of incidences that she had seen in the 2022-23 and 2023-2024 school years as very frequent, that she was dealing with videos taken in locker rooms, videos taken in bathrooms of kids fighting, issues that were posted on social media outside of school that then got brought in to the school causing issues. She would have categorized them as very frequent the previous 2 years, and she said that those incidences were rare last year. So the one big concern that we have about the policy as stated that you guys are going to review tonight is the tracking of warnings. So that is step number 1 in the policy that you have, is that the first incident of a kid having a phone out is a warning. And my colleague Amanda Moreno is going to talk a little bit more about why we find that concerning. Okay? Yeah. Thank you, Alyssa. Okay.
Hello, my name is Amanda Moreno, and I am a teacher, an 8th grade math teacher at the Dallas Middle School. Let me bring up my, okay. So the current district cell phone draft is problematic because step 1 is in the written policy states a first offense of noncompliance is for staff members to give appropriate use of personal electronic devices. The warning system tracking is now a burden on staff members and will lead to inconsistency across the district. While I'm monitoring the hall between classes, personally, other teachers, there are 6th and 7th graders who I don't yet know, and now I have to track them down so I can record the warning. Not quite sure how that's gonna work and then not take away from more instructional time. The TDMS cell phone policy that we piloted last year was the rule and no warnings were needed. It worked well because the policy was well communicated to parents and students before school started and then reinforced once students were in the building. Admin and teachers, and really all staff in the building, spent the first week of school talking with students about the new policy and why it was best for students in their learning. The warning week was general for all students. The TDMS cell phone policy was effective because number one, it was explained to families and students. And number two, it was consistent. It simply stated, off and away all day. The consequences for violations were clear and staff members were able to enforce them consistently. The current draft of the district cell phone policy will not work. I know this because TDMS had a tardy policy written just like this. The first 3 tardies were just warnings. Well, at TDMS, students have 7 class periods. This means a student could potentially be late to classes 21 times before serving a lunch detention. Think about how much class time a student has missed before they get to that point. Same with the district cell phone draft policy. With a warning, who is keeping track? Every teacher for every student? How much class time will students miss out on with every warning, depending on what that looks like at each school? Maybe it's going back to their locker to put it away, if they put it away, or going to turn it into the office. It's just more missed class time. Teacher capacity must be considered creating such an important policy. TDMS cell phone policy worked because one person kept track of every violation. Admin contacted home so teachers could continue teaching students. Everyone can do a better job when policies are clear. Students want and need boundaries. The TDMS cell phone pilot was successful, and I don't want to take steps back. Students need us to hold them to high expectations and be in a school free from distractions. Thank you for your time.
I have a question. It would seem that for a student, a happy teacher would be a happy life. I'm appalled. I can't believe we're letting the state dictate to local concerns about a system that's working. Why don't we send your model to Ms. Kotek? And let's apologize later. Why put all that work in? I don't understand this at all. And I taught and battled the cell phones. I mean, they're tricky. And they're very good at it. But we should apologize later. Throw this out and just keep what you're doing and it's working and give it to the high school.
Yeah, Director Kramer, point of order. Let's save all of our comments for the fun discussion we will have later in the agenda because, yeah, we're going to get into it. So, yeah.
I couldn't wait.
Okay, I know. I hear you. I couldn't either. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, perfect. All right, so thank you for your comments. Appreciate that. The next item on the agenda is a consent agenda.
Microphone, please.
Oh, thank you. The consent agenda contains the special meeting minutes from July 14th, the regular board meeting minutes from July 24th, and the personnel report. Does anybody have any questions, comments about the minutes or the personnel report?
Chair Hagee, I do have a comment related to the meeting minutes of July 14th on item 2A. It lists Director Jones as having asked for a clarification when in fact it was myself. So I just wanted to correct that.
Thank you, Jose. Will be corrected, I trust. Reissued. Any other comments on the minutes? The personnel report. So this is a standard report with all the hirings and the retirements, and in particular, I know Phil Williams became the new interim principal to start the school year at Dallas High School. So it looks like we have filled up all our fall sports coaches. Are we full on fall sports coaches, Carolyn?
Mr. Taylor just gave
Oh,
me the-
Jim, yay, okay. So we're
Yes.
running full steam with both the middle school and the high school. Oh, okay, there you go. Not my job, right? Thanks. Okay, great. And then with all the open jobs in the back, I know there's a constant search for personnel. Do you feel like that any of our current staff is overburdened with any of these, or are we good to go?
So what I would say about this is it's a snapshot in time. And so, yes, while those look like, oh my gosh, we have all these vacancies, many of those are in current hiring processes. So of the open positions, for example, between our licensed and classified, 60% of those openings are already in the middle of a hiring process. We've filled all of our leadership positions. So
That's great. Okay, so we are moving along in terms of capacity. Any other questions? Any other questions about the personnel report? And if not, can I entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda items? Dana, did you have a mic? Okay, so Dana has moved to accept the consent agenda items. Do you want a second? Hey, David, do you want to second that?
Second.
Oh,
Second.
Okay. I think that was David raised his hand first. Okay. I have a second, so is there anybody opposed to accepting the minutes? And if not, can I hear a voice vote? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay, I think we got ayes everywhere. Great. Okay, next item is kind of a general board action calendar review. I can give a quick report on this, and if any of the directors want to add. Three of us did attend, Director Kelly, Director Pauline, Director Hagee, myself, Director Apprecio, attended the OSBA, the Oregon School Board Association Summer Board Conference. There's a tremendous amount of information well presented. So we feel like we got a good start on getting equipped in our roles as your school board members. We had planned to have a board administration admin retreat in August. We had some date conflicts. That's been moved to September, where we will get additional training from an OSBA representative and also do a little bit of strategic planning, hopefully for the board and the superintendent, just to determine goals for this year. Monitor facilities direction. Couldn't tell you anything about that yet. So good luck to us. Continuing to review and revise policies. We're going to look at the cell phone tonight. And then we have many opportunities to attend school activities. Yeah. So I would like to ask for item 8 now, Stephanie Bowen to come up, who would like to do a new staff welcome.
Hello, good evening, and I have Sandy Harris, our Human Resources Director, joining me tonight. I don't want to steal her thunder since she does such an amazing job hiring all these staff. So in addition to the personnel report, during our August board meeting, we like to take a moment to make a special recognition for the new faces and some returning to our district for the upcoming school year. So one of the things that makes our school community thrive is the incredible people that dedicate their time and talent to our students. Each of them brings unique strengths, experiences, and a deep commitment to supporting our mission and our students. So please join me in giving them a warm welcome as they begin their journey with us. We are going to go ahead and call out their names for a little bit of extra recognition. There are a few extra names in addition to those in your board packet, and those are folks that have since finished the hiring process and accepted their positions since you all received the board packet on Friday. So at Chenoweth Elementary, we're welcoming 6 new team members across multiple grade levels, including general education and our dual language instruction. We have Jordan Ray, who will be joining us in grade 5, Kara Kent, grade 3, Samuel Kerrigan in grade 5, Ashley Ferguson in grade 3, Joshua Carlson in grade 1, and Blanca Morales in dual language.
And at Colonel Wright Elementary, our new staff include classroom teachers, specialists, and instructional support. Elle Gross will do kindergarten, Amber Todd for grade 5, Georgine Thompson is our special ed learning specialist, and Abigail Berman for kindergarten, Leslie Gilbert is our SELA, and Brittany Vieira is media assistant.
And I'm going to do an asterisk on that because for the non-education folks, this one took me a long time to learn. SELA is social emotional learning assistant. At Dry Hollow Elementary, we have new staff enhancing our music program, special education, and our classroom support. We have Daniel Taylor joining us for music, Angel Levon for special education learning specialist, Faith Kemp, who is a TOSA, which is teacher on special assignment for culture and climate, Haley Stolley for education assistant, Hannah Page, an education assistant, and that is it. Not it, but that.
At the Dalles Middle School, we're welcoming teachers across core subject areas. Nadia Tellis is for a health teacher, Tara Davis is a math teacher, and Caroline Goen is ELA.
On that note, if you're familiar, there are some names on here that are listed as new, such as Nadia. Nadia actually joined us last year as a temporary teacher due to her contract, and this year she is officially ours. So at the Dalles High School, we have new staff bringing expertise in science, language arts, special ed, and student support. We have Erin Flynn in science, Colleen Alfs is an ELA teacher, Max Dodge Harkins in ELA, Timothy Bartlett, who's ELL and ESL teacher, Yesenia Mondragon in maintenance, and then we have one additional staff member who's actually going to be going back and forth between the middle and the high school, and that's Daniel Keneally, and he is a choir teacher, so he's going to be wearing dual hats.
At Innovations Academy, we are excited also to welcome Grace Junkins, our virtual PE, social studies, and science teacher. She was with us last year on a temporary contract, and now she is ours.
And last but not least, we have the folks that are serving the district and or other roles. So a lot of times this means that these folks are hitting multiple buildings or jumping around between a lot of the different school sites for the district. So we have Ellen Johansson, who is a speech language pathologist. Maybe I need to meet her, huh? Celia Newton, who is also a TOSA, which is the teacher on special assignment for coordinating the intensive and strategic success. Her position is a mandated part of that program for us. Elizabeth Cruz is a SPED facilitator. Carol Dossett is a SPED facilitator. Delilah Chavarria in nutrition services. Catherine Bayer, who is our vocational youth transition specialist. She might have me beat for a longer title. Dayanara Valera Morillo in maintenance. Eric Manning, bus driver. And last but not least, we are excited to welcome back Mr. Judah Harwood in our maintenance program. With that, we want to once again wish them all a warm welcome to our district. And if you can all join me in giving them a round of applause.
Are there any of them here tonight?
Well, I know that Mr. Judah was the one setting up when you guys walked in, but he might be in the back somewhere, but he is here. So if you see a gentleman kind of in the background waiting for us to leave so he can pick up our chairs.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Harwood.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies, very much. So moving on to item 10, staff reports. We got item number 9, student representatives to the board report. So Nancy, if you have a report, you may give one. No, you haven't been in high school recently. Okay, we'll change that in a couple weeks. Okay, then moving on to number 10, staff reports. I'd love to hear from the D21 Ed Association representative.
Good evening. Hi, I'm here tonight. I'd like to take a moment to return to what I shared with you last month. At the heart of everything we do, whether it is in the classroom, at the district level, or as a board, is communication. No district can function well without it. Last month's focus was on introductions. I'm new to my role in the union, and several of you are new to your positions on the board as well. As we all settle in, I've been reflecting on the value of listening and learning from one another before making decisions that bring change. Thoughtful changes, ones that take into account the perspectives of those that we lead, are the changes that truly last. As educators head back into the classrooms, our focus is on students and how best to serve them. But we are doing so with fewer adults in student-facing positions. Without a settled contract, it is harder to retain the dedicated teachers our students need. Too often, they are drawn to other districts offering higher pay or other jobs offering stability and certainty about their future. That is why we are eager to complete bargaining as soon as possible. A fair and timely contract will not only help us retain staff, but it will also restore stability and ease stress, allowing us all to focus entirely on what matters most, the children of our community. The union's goal is to work in partnership with the school board, superintendent, and the broader community. Together, we can make informed decisions that reflect the voices of everyone involved. When communication is strong and inclusive, every group feels heard and the outcomes are stronger. We all share responsibility for raising and educating the youth of this community. If we commit to working together and communicating clearly, there is no limit to what we can accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate you coming tonight. Is your counterpart here from the Northwest Education Support Professionals? Okay. Item 1 here, I would like to note that we have board member observers on the collective bargaining and the negotiations with each union. Dana Elledge serves with the licensed group, the D21 Ed Association, and we have availability now with the new board to have somebody serve in the classified observer role. And I think I have a volunteer. Okay. So that is as formal. I don't even know if we need to nominate you. I don't think there is a nomination procedure for this. It's just a volunteer procedure. And so Director Kramer has agreed to participate as our observer in the classified collective bargaining negotiations. And I believe that starts up after school gets going, maybe Tuesdays, a couple times a month. So best of wishes to you, Director Kramer, and thank you for doing that. Number 11, we can talk about now possible appointments of school board members to our standing committees. We have some new volunteers for these roles and then folks continuing. So the scholarship committee, we learned last time, really gets in action in the spring towards graduation, and Director Elledge serves on that. Would you like to continue, Don? Dana? Oh, sure. I'm gonna write Dana next to that because I don't know who Don is. Great. Okay, so thank you, Dana, for continuing with that. The community outreach team, I had a volunteer in Director Pauline for that. So is that still true, Director Pauline?
Yep, that's still true.
Okay, so please note that Director Pauline will be on the community outreach team as a board member. The wellness committee, we kind of talked about the wellness committee when we were briefing for this, and what I learned was that it wasn't a particularly well-formed committee. My question was, isn't this an HR activity? And so we agreed that we would scrap this committee. I think this is a operational activity and not a governance activity. So I'm sending this back to operations. Wellness is, my understanding, the purview of HR. So I would say we're going to scrap that as a board committee, but I certainly would support any focus on wellness for our employees. The OSB Legislative Policy Committee. Previously, Director Richardson was on that committee, and that is a position that is there's a legislative committee that Oregon School Board Association has. They have school board directors that represent statewide, and there are 2 positions in the Gorge, and those are both open. And so we did want to nominate someone because it's best to have something close to home instead of somebody else. And I think that Director Aparicio actually kind of agreed to that.
That's correct. Yeah, I'll accept the nomination and I can start working on my application to
Very-
be formally on the ballot this fall.
Okay, there. And as he said, it's not a shoo-in. You do have to apply. So we have the nomination form. I think that I will fill that out, and then we're going to have to get it to you to complete it. Or maybe you don't have to sign it. I don't think you do. So I will complete the paperwork for the nomination, and we're going to nominate you now officially, actually, I think. And then you can access the questionnaire or pick up a copy at the district office. And it's a 2-page questionnaire. It's kind of arduous. So thank you, Jose. I will take nominations from the directors to appoint or to nominate Jose to this role. I need a nomination.
I would make a motion to nominate Director Aparicio.
Thank
for
you.
the OSBA
I'll
policy.
second.
And David seconds, so all in favor say aye. Aye, great. Okay, Jose, represent us close to home. I am confident that you will be serving us on this committee. Thank you. Okay, so that takes care of that. The D21 Education Foundation, Director Aparicio is also on that. Would you like to continue, sir?
I can't, and the reason for that, as I explained, I'm traveling. I fly out tomorrow, and the strategic planning for that group starts tomorrow and through Saturday. Both days it's from 10 to 3. So I feel that whomever is going to be on the Ed Foundation for us as the board should be in attendance over the next couple of days. So unfortunately, my travels prevent me from being there for the planning part.
Directors Jones, Directors Kramer, anybody have extra time? They want to do the D21 Foundation? Dr. Bernal will attend that planning. So, yeah, would you like to comment on that?
I sure can. There's a 2-day retreat. They're having a strategic planning retreat tomorrow and Saturday, so I will be attending that. The Ed Foundation meetings, currently in their current format, are held in the evenings. I believe the 4th Tuesday of the month. They're usually from 6 to 7:30. They are a hybrid, so you can either attend in person or online.
Okay. Do you want to just do it? Dave Jones has agreed that he will serve, and he can't do the training, but that's great. So staff can let him know when the next meeting is. Thank you, Dave. Okay, and there is an additional committee. This is a large committee composed of a lot of stakeholders. It is the stewarding body committee for the intensive program. This district volunteered to be in the intensive program, which is a pilot for the state. You got extra money, but you also had to apply some intensive programs. Director Dana Elledge is currently serving. Dana, do you want to continue? Okay, does anybody want to go after her role, or do you want to let her? All right, very good. Thank you, Dana. Gonna write that down. Got it. The Columbia Gorge ESD Budget Committee. I learned that that's like maybe 1 or 2 meetings a year, and so I'll volunteer for that. So let's put my name next to that term, okay? There. All right, so I think we've handled our school board member appointments to a variety of committees listed here. So thank you, staff, for helping us know when these occur and when we should be present.
Chair,
Yes.
Can I make a comment? Only because this was talked about specifically at the last meeting, and it's no longer on this list, and I just want to make people aware about the Equity Committee and why it's no longer on this list. So it has been a functioning committee in D21. I understand, even though we weren't mandated to do it because of our student body population size. However, the state has moved that committee from reporting to the board, now it reports to the superintendent, and board members actually aren't able to sit on that board anymore. So that board is still going to be functioning and just having a different reporting structure and will no longer involve us.
Correct. I would suppose you could have an observer from the board, but there's no governance to be done in that committee. It's an operational committee. And that was the problem. It was not clarified. It was like, hey, we've got equity committees, but nobody clarified whose responsibility it was.
And even being an observer, because that comment in question did come up at the conference, they strongly cautioned.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
We're out.
just so people are aware.
Yeah, we're not going to be there.
This is Director Pulling.
Pardon me?
Hey, so with these committees, I trust that we're going to get a point of contact and from someone to reach out to. Okay, excellent.
We will make sure to provide that.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably Renata, I would think our board secretary will help us with that. Awesome, thank you. We're going to move on to new business, and we have a series of presentations. And we are going to start with Dan Peterson, our CFO, and he will be joined by Ryan Alinger, the facilities director. Summer facilities presentation.
Yeah, I've delegated this task to Ryan. He's prepared a presentation for us, and he's going to walk us through all the hard work that our facilities and custodial team did over the summer to get the schools ready for kids.
Good evening, I'm Ryan Allinger, Director of Facilities. This year at Colonel Wright, we had a really busy year at Colonel Wright. Obviously with our summer cleaning, we went through, waxed all the hallways, wiped everything down. We tried to shampoo some of the carpets and get them smelling good. One of the big things that the Colonel Wright staff asked for, it's been a little bit, we installed brand new handrails going from the upper level school down to the courtyard, so every stairwell now has new handrails. We fixed the concrete. It was a huge project out in front of the administrative office at Colonel Wright. The tunnel was collapsing. We went in, and thanks to Crestline, they went in and shored up the concrete and put in a new access door for our condensate pump underneath there. We will be installing a small little exhaust to try to keep that steam to get out of there, so it doesn't keep deteriorating the concrete underneath. Inside the gym, we were asked to get some new climbing ropes. The ropes were getting a little bit frayed, so we did that. We also installed a window in the PE office door. You can see the fence on there that we installed for safety. There's a little bit of a brick thing that goes out there where the fence didn't meet, and Doc Bernal brought that to our attention, so we had that fence installed with a new double gate on the end so we can still get the lawnmowers in there to mow that little courtyard. We painted all the parking lot lines at Colonel Wright. And then in the new kindergarten classroom, we installed a door in the wall so that they would be able to work both ways there. At Dry Hollow, once again, we shampooed all the carpets, we wiped everything down. For the cleaning, And then the big project at Dry Hollow, as you can see, we installed a new sunshade out in the playground area to kind of have them an area, since there's no shade up there for them to do during recess or any of their activities. And then we went through and installed some new LED lighting throughout some of the classrooms. Instead of just replacing it with fluorescent tubes, we went to LED so they'll last a little longer, better energy. At the middle school, as you can see, the team came in here. We painted the walls in here. We painted all the fire doors. We painted the poles. They were kind of dinged up, all the door trim. And we went through and we stripped down and waxed the floors in here. This school was a major community help with the Red Cross twice. Using this to provide a safe place for residents that were out and somewhere that had air conditioning, so it helped. We restriped the basketball court outside here, and we also painted all the parking lot lines here also. At the high school, we just finished waxing all the hallways at the high school. We installed on the west wing, we installed all new LED lighting throughout the west wing. And then the high school was another thing that the Red Cross and the EMS used. They used the auditorium to set up agencies for resources for victims that have lost their homes. So our schools did a very good job in helping us provide something for the community.
Although I'd comment that I was bummed they put fire camp in Hood River. That was not cool.
Yeah, they got us on that one. At Innovations, we did, obviously the summer clean, we'll be finishing the waxing of the floors tomorrow night for that. We installed LED lighting in the restrooms, in the hallways. We just got done fixing the men's room at Watonka. We put in all new FRP around there to help with that. The walls were kind of getting a little from the last time, since we got the roofs fixed, we needed to fix some of the walls, so we got those fixed. The big thing that we did, we installed the new chiller on the library and for the IT building. It was just a system that quit working for us, so.
Is the IT building just for Innovations, or is it for the district?
That's the district's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the whole district's IT. But yeah, they're just stationed down there at Innovations and their office is part of that chiller system.
Are there servers there?
There are some in their main. That's their main office where they run everything for the district. Yes. CES. This is a big one. We got our cleaning done early because at CES we were finishing up the seismic. I think that the efforts that were put in by Griffin Construction are above and beyond what we could have asked for what we asked for. The office is phenomenal looking. New flooring, new paint, new reception area to do that when they had to go in there and cut the walls out. That also we were able, with that seismic, we were able to provide AC in the main office, which is something that it doesn't have, but now they have AC up there in the main office. The cafeteria got a whole brand new flooring, all new flooring in the cafeteria, all new lighting in the cafeteria. The flooring went clear into the kitchen, so that's even better. We have new flooring in the kitchen. It looks extremely sharp. The gym, they painted the ceiling, put all new lighting in the ceiling, painted all of our walls for us, so they're all white in there. And then the breezeway on both sides, we painted the dark brown. We updated the painting, put all brand new LED lighting in the breezeway. And then the big thing, we've got the whole, from the gym to the cafeteria, the whole exterior got repainted. So I just want to make sure that we say thanks to Griffin Construction for all the hard work that they've put in to manage this for us. It was easy to work with them.
Is anybody assigned to writing them a thank you note, or more importantly, giving them a testimonial or a review for their website? Is anybody assigned to that might take care of that?
Doc Bernal and I will work on that.
That's great. That's the most valuable thing you can do for them.
As you can see, some of the pictures, there's the new lighting, the new white ceiling, there's the new cafeteria floor, and that's one of the offices. As you can see, they got everything tore down, new flooring go in, painting the walls, painting the doors. It's just, if you get time, it would be good for you guys to maybe stop by and take a look at what this community did, because Griffin is part of our community. And so, a lot of local contractors, from Devco to Hagee Electric to they're endless. People have come and helped us with this project. With our grounds, I'm going to kind of combine this into the facilities call out, is what I'm going to call it, recognition for hard work. And that's our grounds team. They are hardworking. There is 4 of them that take care of all of our grounds from one end of town to the other. They also go up and they take care of all of our fire breaks. They mow all that. They cut all the fire lines. They get all that done. And then, as you see, the football fields and the soccer fields, we've been getting high praises from the coaches saying on how great the fields look and how playable they are. And also with the grounds, I'd like to give out a special thanks to Wade Walker for spraying our fence lines. He helped us out so that we can not be weed eating as much. It's a lot, it took a lot of work off our plates. So, no, Wade Walker he's a landscaping company, but he's a local, and he actually, his business is right up above the district office there. He's a very helpful man. Him and his wife do great work, and so they've been helping us out because we can't spray. We have to have a commercial license to spray. So he comes down and helps us out with spraying around our fields and stuff like that. And then the big one for the upcoming, for August 29th for the home football game, we will be opening up the Hawk's Nest. This has been a giant community project that we've had a lot of guaranteed not to sway. It is, she is in there pretty good. We had a lot of local partners that came out and helped us make this possible. We could go on about Les Schwab and Bishop and Prey Electric to A&L Construction to Chad Smith Excavating, the facilities team for unloading the truck to get this thing ready for that, for the bleachers company that came out and put this together for us. This is an exciting community event, and I can't wait to kick it off on August 29th for the home football game. And that's kind of the big story there that Les Schwab, Bishop, Chad, Larry Prey, A&L, the facilities teams, Friends of Football, bleacher experts, all of them put in the effort to make this happen.
Thank you, Ryan. You had an exciting summer. Appreciate all your work and dedication to keeping our facilities in the best possible condition they can be. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to add an extra thanks. I know you and your team have been working your tail off all summer, and it's much appreciated. And it's been good to start working with you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think you also did the staff recognition of the facilities team. So moving on to the superintendent's report. Carolyn?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to share a little bit about how all the summer work that has been happening in order to prepare for a strong start to the school year. I really believe that a successful school year begins long before the first day of school, and this summer our staff and across our district have been working very hard to prepare our classrooms, train our staff, and create welcoming environments for our students, with the goal in mind to set us up for success for a successful school year. Our facilities and operations, they have a goal of having a smooth and safe start and welcoming environments for our students, families, and community. All of our buildings have been deep cleaned and sanitized, safety inspections completed across all of our campuses. We've had some upgrades to our HVAC systems and new LED lighting, and our groundskeepers, as Ryan had mentioned, have been hard at work ensuring that our playgrounds have been refreshed, our athletic fields are ready, and landscaping is pleasing to the eye. Staffing and hiring, our goal is always to have highly qualified staff to serve our students and families and be fully staffed on day one. We have 33 new hires that will participate this Friday in new employee orientation. We have 10 ESPs and 23 licensed staff, and we are continuing to hire. We have a partnership with the Columbia Gorge ESD that provides teacher mentorship for our new teachers, and our key leadership positions have been filled. Professional learning, we always have a goal of providing our staff with high-quality professional learning opportunities to support their success in each of their roles. Our staff returns next week. We have some training set up for our elementary school teachers. We have science adoption training happening for our middle school science teachers, and we have a lot of site-based professional learning happening around a variety of topics, including student engagement, positive behavior supports, classroom management, data analysis, goal setting, and setting a direction for the new school year. Curriculum and instruction, it's always our goal to provide our staff with the necessary tools to deliver high-quality instruction in the classroom. Instructional materials have been ordered and are being distributed. Our curriculum and instruction webpage has been fully updated. Our 25-26 professional learning calendar has been prepared, and our K-5 standards-based report card drafts are in progress. Student and family support, it's always our goal to build a strong school-family partnerships. This summer, we served approximately 360 students across our summer learning programs. Several of our schools are hosting a variety of different orientation events for our new families and students, and there's a variety of back-to-school communications being distributed district-wide. Transportation and nutrition, their goal is always to have smooth, safe, and healthy start for all our kids. Our bus routes are being finalized and tested. Our drivers are completing all of their safety training. Our cafeteria equipment is being serviced, and menus are being refreshed. In culture and climate, it's always our goal that every student feels seen, supported, and safe. So our focus is always on building welcoming and inclusive schools, staff being prepared with new strategies for relationship building, and climate initiatives being led by our culture and climate TOSAs, which are teachers on special assignment. So looking ahead, all of our preparations are pointing to a strong start. Our staff commitment ensures our students will thrive from day one, and together we can have a successful 25-26 school year. I want to thank our school board, our staff, families, and communities. It takes all of us to prepare our schools and be ready for when our doors open, and when we work and collaborate together, we all make a difference for children. Thank you. Do you want to do it, Jim? Yes, thank you. And I would like to invite AD Taylor up to talk a little bit about athletics.
Thank you, Dr. Bernal and board directors, for giving me this opportunity to talk to you about the state of athletics at the high school. And we are off to a great start of our school year, like Dr. Bernal just said. Practice started this week. We have over 200 kids practicing in 6 sports. We have over 40 boys participating in daily doubles in football. We're going to have a solid 2 teams. They're breaking away in practice and everything like we need to do to support that program. And as Ryan told you, we have our new press box, the Hawk's Nest, that we're opening next Friday night in our home opener against Umatilla. And along with those donors, thanks to Mr. Evans and Mr. Brost and you here at the school board, you made this happen. So thank you. And that game is at 7 o'clock at Sid White Field. And I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because our ASB president, Elliot Winwood, is here. And she was concerned that we weren't going to be able to do what she wanted to do. And we are not going to charge admission to this football game next Friday night. We are going to take donations for the Rowena Fire. So everyone gets in free, and we're giving the money to the United Way, which Elliot has contacted, and they're also going to have QR codes that you can scan, and if there's stuff that these families still need, they'll be able to get it. Girls soccer, we'll have over 35 girls. We're going to have 3 teams. This is quite impressive for a school our size. Most schools have 2 teams in our league. They do. All the teams in our league do. But a lot of 4A schools and 3A schools only have 1 girls team. So we have 3, which is great. And Coach Ton and the girls, they are 2-time defending Tri-Valley champions, and they're looking for a 3-peat this year. And they're hoping to be playing in that championship game on November 15th in Hillsboro. I hope they can do that. They got the right, they got a good team. I think they have a good chance. Our boys soccer team has well over 40 boys out, and they are also going to have 3 teams. And their first game is September 2nd. And in some of the preseason stuff that I've seen, we're ranked number 2, and the team that's coming, North Marion, is ranked number 4. So it's going to be a barn burner right off the bat. The first day of school, we got a big soccer game. Our cross-country team has over 30 students participating, and they'll be hosting the Tri-Valley District this year at Cirrhosis Park on Wednesday, October 29th. Our volleyball team has close to over 40 girls, and they're going to have 3 teams, and they're looking to get back at the state tournament on November 7th and 8th in Coos Bay to bring home another trophy. They took 4th place last year. Our fall cheer team has about 30 members, and they will be competing on the sideline competition at Sherwood and Oregon City High School this fall, and they traditionally bring home trophies from those. And in the 4A co-ed division. And the team will also be cheering at all our home football games, which are 4 of them, and a couple of road games too. You have a thing on there about our core values in athletics. Last spring, while I was filling in for Mr. Brost while he was on leave, unfortunately, our sports program has had quite a few ejections in the last couple years, and the OSA kind of frowns upon that, and we've been fined for that. And I reached out to the OSA in the January or February saying, what kind of resources do we have to help us change our culture and stuff? And they said, well, we'll be happy to come to the Dalles for you guys. So they came, and Nancy Diaz, I invited a whole bunch of students, about 30 plus students, and then all our coaches were invited to, and they did two 1-hour sessions, one with the students and one with the coaches. And like I said, Nancy Diaz, who is a tennis player, she was there. Elliot Winwood, who is our ASB president, she's a golfer, she was there. And Lillian Rivas, who's back there, she's a tennis player also, and she's a junior class officer. And they were part of this, the OSA coming and talking about sportsmanship. And they suggested that we create core values for our athletic program. And so I asked Dr. Bernal and I asked Mr. Evans, who was our principal at the time, if it would be okay if I went ahead and started that process, and they gave me the okay. So I invited students and coaches, and they came up with the Hawks core values, which is hard work, accountability, we is greater than me, knowledge, and sportsmanship. And the paper I gave you there kind of breaks down. We had multiple meetings over the spring, and we finished it just before school was out. And they came up with, what hard work looks like, being self-motivated, being in school every class, do your work and practice every day, and accountability. I'm also going to be doing some leadership training on how to be responsible with the student athletes, with some curriculum, leadership curriculum out of Michigan. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've got good teams, we've got good coaches. We just kind of need to put just make things a little more consistent and make our culture a little better. Because sometimes some of our teams, the bus rolls in and they go, oh, here comes the Dallas. So we want to end that stereotype. Mr. Kramer, Director Kramer cornered me before and asked me what this GOL thing was. The GOL stands for the Greater Oregon League. And back in my day, that was basically all the old 3A classification, which is 4A now, east of the mountains. Riverside, Ontario, Baker, Burns, Madras. It was all over the state, and that's why they called it the Greater Oregon League. It's now pretty much I-84. It goes from Pendleton to Ontario. It did include Crook County, but Crook County got moved to 5A because they were so big. And Peter Weber, the OSAA, approached Mr. Evans and I last December and asked if we would be willing to go to the GOL for football only. And Mr. Evans and I both talked about it, and we were scheduled to go to Ontario for football because they came here last year. And to reciprocate that deal, we were going to go to them the following year. And it's a 1-year deal, so Mr. Evans and I said, yeah, we'll do it for 1 year. They are doing reclassification right now. They had the first meeting on the 11th of August, where they just kind of went over stuff, meeting norms and all that good stuff. You guys know all about that stuff. And then they're going to meet again this coming Monday on the 25th, and they're going to take public testimony, and then they're going to break, sort of like you guys do, they're going to break into a closed session, and they're going to start working on this. And they are going to, on the OSA site, you'll be able to see the results of those meetings. You can also watch them on YouTube if you want to. And they will be meeting again on September 8th, October 6th, October 27th, and November 17th. And by the beginning of the year, they'll have a recommendation to the OSAA board. I went with my athletic assistant, Ronnie Blodgett, we went to the OSAA meeting last Tuesday, and I feel that it feels, from what I hear from the other and the OSA themselves, they want to move down from a 6 classification to a 5 classification. Right now, we're a 4A school, and we're kind of one of the bigger 4A schools. What that means for us is that maybe some of those smaller 5A schools may come down our way. As the AD for our school, I would like to make sure that we stay out of leagues that include like the Bend schools, which are much bigger than us, and it's hard for our kids to compete against those schools. The travel is miserable in the winter, right, Mr. Kramer? We've gotten caught in a few snowstorms ourselves. And we also want to keep the Tri-Valley League together as much as we can. Madras is kind of a small school, and Gladstone is kind of losing population, so I don't know what that's going to mean for us. But as things start to unfold, I will be closely watching it and making sure that we don't get thrown into a situation that's not good for our kids just because of geography purposes. Sometimes the OSA likes to do that for schools like us on the other side of the mountains. I've been building some good relationships with them. They're actually going to have the new AD meeting right here in the Dalles. So hopefully with these good relationships I'm building with them, they'll listen to me and not do shenanigans with us. All right, well, I want to thank you for your time, and do you have any questions or concerns?
Thank you. This is timely. It's important. We have a lot of stakeholders and participants in our programs, and clearly sports is an integral part of the young people's experience if they choose to participate.
I have a comment, if it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
In 2005, we went into the IMC, and it wasn't a good move. It was a transportation increase just for bus travel, $20,000 plus. And I would support Coach Taylor in his efforts to keep us away from that. It's horrible for kids. I mean, I remember in a couple trips we'd come in, and the sun was coming up, and the superintendent met us at the bus, kind of upset with us, and Coach Radford, Coach Rowland, and myself, we went right into the classroom, and the kids got to go home for a couple hours, and then they came back. But especially with the football schedule this year, you've got an away team going to Woodburn, then Baker,
yes,
and then Ontario, back to back to back in October, late October, November, and that's when the grades start coming out. So if we want to keep our athletes eligible, they have to be in the class. They can't be tired. And so I would really encourage, having been a teacher and a coach coaching for 40 years plus, and teaching 37 or 37, I don't know how long. Anyway, and that's gone. But we really have to watch this carefully and stay out of a dark, deep hole. You'll lose kids because of the grade issues, and we've got to do something to kind of stabilize that. So,
What if it's just the football program that's doing the long
correct.
trips?
It's just football.
Where are the
and,
others?
and the Ontario game is on the in-service day, so there's no school that day.
excellent.
So they're not going to miss school, and they'll get home and they can sleep in Saturday morning.
But my concern is, though, that once this precedent's been set, the OSAA is going to be looking at us. Yeah, they'll
No,
go
I
with it.
think AD Taylor was clear that he intended to defend our children and our participants by keeping them closer to home.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you're building relationships with the OSSAA so they have a harder time.
Saying no, yeah.
Yeah.
Director Kramer, as you look, if you look on the meeting from the 11th, they put the classification, they put all the schools and classifications, and we're kind of towards the top of 4A, and like Ontario and Baker, the bottom. So if they do go to 5 classifications, I believe they're going to move those schools down to 3A. So
Well, we need to look at what Hermiston did in terms of their population and strategically count students in the chair at certain times of the year when we have mass exoduses. Because that's
that's tricky. Hey, I
Yes.
didn't hear that, Kramer.
that
Okay.
works.
So, what can we do
Well,
as board members to support fair treatment?
yeah, as like I said, they're gonna their first presentation will be out next week, and we'll have an idea of the way they're looking, and I'll stay in close contact with my mentor, Mr. Kramer, and
Who
make
will
sure
be testifying, right?
yes, make sure that
You're going to testify, Kramer? I'm not going to pay you anything, but there was a lot of public testimony, and so I would hope that you would do that. And Director Jones, you are passionate about sports. I would hope that you would also testify.
Yeah, there will be testimony, and people, yes, I would encourage the school board members to talk about that.
If you would
And we
help me
did
with,
lose-
if you would help us with talking points, we might do that.
We did lose a big ally with Mr. Evans. He was pretty tight with some of those people in the OSA too, so.
Okay, you're filling that role, Jim. You're gonna do a great job.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do provide us with talking points and tell us where to go. I'm sure we can do that.
I will
written or-
keep you guys, I'll keep
Okay.
you, I'll let you know.
Thank you, and I love that you guys have core values, because sports is not just about winning and playing the game, it's about character building. So this is a great guide, and I hope that we are posting these things and putting them in front of players all the time.
Yeah, we had a parent meeting on the 14th.
Woo.
And we had over 100 people there.
Good.
And so we introduced this, yes, so this is part of our culture now. We're gonna be-
Yes, thank you for piloting that. I very much appreciate it. Okay, Dan, follow that with your numbers.
Yeah, it's a little tough for a bean counter to follow athletics,
Yeah.
but I'll just have to do the best I can. So the first thing we have is a pretty routine resolution. We had some funds. The appropriations were in the 1,000 function, and they more appropriately belong in the 2,000 function. There's no net change to the budget, so I would like to have this resolution passed so that we can be gap compliant and keep our auditors happy.
Do we need to read this resolution, or will it be posted up on the screen? Oh, you don't have it, okay. Should we read it then? Is that good practice? All right, okay, so I do need a motion to consider this resolution, and then if we choose, we can discuss it if we get a second. Friend?
Hagee, I'll move to approve resolution number 252603 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay. Does anybody need a reading of this? It's just moving monies around, no effect on the budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You may.
Aye.
So I don't know if we did that right.
I think it was
attorney
just
says
fine. I'll get your signature afterwards.
Yes. Any opposed? No date on this form, that's fun. Okay, moving on then. Financial statements, sir.
So, yeah, we have the financials here. They're the usual report that the board's been getting for some time. It's my understanding that you want a little bit more commentary on this. I'm not sure exactly what you want, so I will start with just what pops out to me. The first thing is the date, because here we are at the August board meeting, but the financials are still dated June 30th, when you might expect to see July financials. The reason for that, if you're not familiar with school finance, we have a 13th period in our financial system, and we use that to resolve all of the transactions that come in after the end of the fiscal year. The cash balance will not change at all. That's fixed in stone, but we're collecting all of our receivables. We're still drawing on some grants. And frankly, even though the business office is very busy, not much happens financially. These won't actually close until our audit is complete. So I will present these again over the next couple months. In October, you'll start seeing enrollment numbers and financials for the 25-26 school year. Once we run the payroll in September, it will encumber the budget for all of our payroll costs for the year, so those numbers will start to be more meaningful. The next thing that really pops out to me, I'll draw your attention to the final column on the balance sheet and the bottom of that. And if you look at the beginning fund balance and the ending fund balance, you will see that the ending fund balance is smaller. Obviously, that's a bad trend that we don't want to continue. There are a number of reasons for that. If you look at the expenditure sheet, the final page of that, you'll see that we underspent our budget by a significant amount, $5.7 odd million. Unfortunately, our receipts, our revenues came under budget even more than that, and that's the reason for the drawdown on the ending fund balance. So, good news and bad news. So that's what I have for you right now, and I just wanted to ask, what do you want to see? What would be helpful for you? Do you want to learn more about school finance, how school funding runs? What is it you're after?
So, yeah, we're new here too. Director Jones wants to see more money. So
you and me both.
You can do that. I guess I wouldn't say we know yet. I think we did get some resources at OSBA that I don't know that we followed up on. Just about, there was a book recommended to me. So I think it's going to be a process to learn. I think from you and for us, because we're responsible fiscally for the district health, is to get a read on where we're at. Are we headed for trouble? And it's okay to be honest we needed you to be honest about how to guide us in a healthy way. I think we all would love to work towards some kind of a reserve fund that we have in place, so we have a little cushion that we can build up. So I think there's a lot of things that could be done, so we don't get any surprises, and that we've got our finger on the pulse as we go along. I think that we are going to learn as we go along from work sessions, planning, what would be most important. And if there could be some summary numbers, key performance indicators that we figure out. There's plenty of those out there in the world, and so maybe we'll settle on some.
Okay, so for the next meeting, is something like I did tonight acceptable?
It's fine until we give new direction.
Okay, sounds
Yeah,
good.
and yeah, thank you, Dan.
Chair Hagee, if I can add a comment, I think what you said is definitely spot on. What I would also say, CFO Peterson, is that one of the challenges I think we have is just the knowledge base that a lot of people have and think more broadly, like community-wise. So seeing these numbers may not mean a whole lot. So like the items that you highlighted and spoke to tonight is very much relevant and allows a little more ability for people to understand, what they're seeing in the numbers and on those tables, right? So for me, I think a, high level, like executive summary, highlighting some of the points like you did tonight would be very easy, so that it's in a digestible format that would live along with these, so that as community members are wondering, hey, what is the fiscal happenings of D21, they're able to kind of absorb that a little easier, as opposed to trying to look at these numbers and then try and grasp, what is really happening from a financial side. So, I think that's how I would kind of interpret that, is just not only for us as the board, but the broader community, just to understand, where are we fiscally.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm understanding you. What I'm hearing is that you'd like something like a written narrative, like the verbal report that I just gave. Is that correct?
Yep, that would be awesome, at least from my perspective.
Okay.
I'll let others chime in as well.
Yeah,
This is Director Polling.
paragraph or two. I don't need you to write it, but I do need you to speak it. And again, maybe we'll come up with some KPIs that are common, indicators of health. So we'll see. And maybe you might, Dan, it's your job. Maybe you in your training, and maybe they will share with you. And if you seek out, what are some common KPIs I can share with my board that help them know how we're doing? And, as Director Dana Elledge that asked for that expenditures report, which is a great one, because then you can see, well, we're on track. No, we're not. And so that's very helpful. Yeah, you'll figure it out, and so will we.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. All right, so board attorney's report.
Sorry, Chair Hagee, I think Director Pauline had a comment as well.
Oh, thank you. David, please.
Yes, CFO Peterson, I think I made the original request for the more information, and pretty much everybody's hit the nail on the head on what I was looking for. So I really like the direction that we're all thinking, and the concept is really like truth and transparency and education, so that it's easier for generally the public to digest like what's happening.
Cool, thank you.
To summarize, give us a health report, a financial health report, and locate some KPIs. And I hope your training goes awesome. All right, Jason. Well, magical. Okay, good. Discussion action items. Do we have any of those? I don't think so. So here we go. The cell phone policy. Let me find that. And I think get ready to manage more of the meeting. Okay, so we have two things going on. We have the legislature picked up the cell phone in schools issue, and they created a law in this last long session. When they do that, then it goes into rulemaking. So then the Oregon Department of Education is charged with carry out that law, make some rules. It takes them a while, probably a year or so, to come up with those rules. And in the interim, Governor Tina Kotek issued an executive order with dates that required schools to adopt a cell phone policy before the rulemaking was concluded. Is that true? Is that accurate? So therein lies the problem. So we are under an executive order by Governor Kotek to put a policy in place by the 31st of October, and then to have it fully functioning at the schools by the end of the year. I think we're different in that we did a pilot, and the pilot was very well thought out and successful, and that we have trained a group of students how to use it. And of course, we've graduated some of those up to the high school who are now familiar with that. And I've heard feedback so far that the OSBA model sample policy, which we are reading tonight and considering for adoption, is weak. And tell us why. I mean, we have a lot of questions about this sample policy and why it seems so weak. And maybe, Carolyn, could you comment on that? And I think some of us have questions.
Yeah, I think the difficult part about the policy is you're trying to do a one-size-all policy in a setting where we have multiple factors complicating that. The middle school had a really successful pilot, and of course we want to support that continuation and the success that they're seeing. But then the high school and innovations, for example, they don't require kids to use lockers. Some kids use backpacks. They have an open campus. It's another complicating factor. Elementary schools as well don't, kids use backpacks. They store their backpacks in a variety of ways at the different elementary school sites. So there's like multiple complicating factors when you want to say, let's just do what the middle school did, which yes, because it was successful, but applying that to the different settings is complicated because of the variety of factors happening that are different.
Right, and my understanding of the OSB sample pilot, this is statewide, so this is every district that did not do a pilot, which is most of them. And so they're in a position where they have to make this happen for their districts. They have not done any sampling, they've not done any work, and so I think this is very soft. It's a softball. And but I think we've heard commentary that the softball doesn't work. And so I think the OSBA came in very conservative with this so that it could be, tolerable for the districts and the families and parents that had not experienced this yet. So my question, and does anybody have any questions, or because my question is how do we adopt a successful policy knowing what we know from our pilot? Because I don't think this is it.
Well, I have a comment or two. I think the issue is what's best for children, bottom line. And you're talking about cell phones, it's electronic opium. They can't put them down. They go through withdrawals. You're talking endorphins that are just exploding every time they pick those phones up. Bullying, harassment, that's all brought into that. And I think we need to take Sherry's, is her name right? Did I get your name right? Send that to the governor, and I'd rather apologize than have whatever this new one looks like. I'm just sorry. I haven't been in the classroom. Kids need a line, and if they cross it, there's consequences.
I have a question, Carolyn. So we did a pilot, right? And that was our own volition, our own choice that we did. So could the pilot continue? No, we don't have to adopt until you have to. I mean, your deadline is 10/31, so we can take we don't have to do it. The one of the advantages was starting the school year with clarity for the students and family, and I get that. That's really nice. And then you have a whole year of data. You have everybody starts off on the right foot. There's pros and cons to that, but my one question is. We did a pilot. Is there any reason why that successful pilot cannot continue? You guys the Dallas Middle School could continue their pilot without us having to adopt a policy, because that is the current whatever, and we don't have to have a policy in place till 10/31, and we don't have to enact it until 12/31, so we got lots of time to appeal or demonstrate success or whatever, and maybe Tina lifts her executive order or amends it or whatever.
So yes, absolutely, they can continue their pilot as is. It is the hope, though, of all of our administrators that they can enforce something day one, because having to change course January 1st in the middle of a school year and start implementing and enforcing something is much harder to do. So it is the desire of all of our school principals to be able to enforce something from day one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short notice, right?
If we stuck with the policy that's working for the middle school and just look at what we need to do to adapt the high school to that same policy, if they don't have lockers, then we just need to write something that says they stay in their backpack or their purse or on their person and still follow that same guideline.
That's true. You need to include smart devices in general as well.
I also have a couple of comments. So I believe the middle school can continue the pilot, kind of. So some of the like discipline action plan actually can't be prescribed anymore, and that's like the in-school suspension or out-of-school suspension clause, which is like the second or third offense. So I think it can still be ran very appropriately, very seamlessly, just with that exclusion. I'll just say, like, kudos. Like, there's so many middle school people here. Kudos to you guys for very successfully implementing that, because I know there has been a lot of conversation for a lot of years to try and implement something like this, and there has been quite a few roadblocks. And as a parent of a middle schooler last year, I was thrilled and extremely grateful for what had been done in short order, and very commendable. And seriously, it should be sent up the chain of command to the governor of what was done here, the outcomes, all the data that we received tonight. That's the proof. And that should remain the standard here at the middle school and also at the high school and at Innovations. There's no reason that can't be rolled out amongst 3 schools. I don't think we have to specifically prescribe the storage requirements. That's not in the current policy that's proposed. We don't need to do that. So that should not be a complexity that we need to consider and make it a roadblock for ourselves.
So exclude the storage from the policy and make that part of the campus.
The portion of the policy that stands out to me, and I read several policies from other schools in the state, across the nation, and also overseas, and ours is one of the more yielding policies that I saw. That's very disappointing.
The OSBA or our model?
The OSBA,
It's
sample policy recommendations. What I heard a lot tonight was we shouldn't be doing these warnings as a first step. And what I would say is, like, the executive order is the warning. The communication that's going to go out to parents is the warning. The communication that's going to go out to the kids on the first day of school and as maybe the warning week, like, that is the warning after that. There's no more warnings. So I do have very specific language that I would recommend after this first reading to be considered when we do our second reading and in our adoption of a policy. I can say that out loud. I probably have to. It'll take a few minutes. But I think what the middle school did last year, that's something that can be easily duplicated, and also easily duplicated at the elementary school levels, just because they also have lockers. Some of them, like some schools, put them on hooks in the back of the classroom. It doesn't matter where it's at. It just needs to be not on your person and taken out. So I think we're close, but I think we need to more closely align with what the middle school was doing last year. And anything that's not aligned with that is a huge disservice to our kids and to our staff.
Thank you. Yeah, I did hear you say, which was awesome, we just need to wordsmith a little bit and structure our 3 steps to the language maybe.
Yeah, I have a recommendation for that.
You do?
I do.
Would you like to read it?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So for addressing the noncompliance, the steps shall include the first incidence of noncompliance. The device will be temporarily confiscated and held at the front office until the end of the school day. Parents or caregivers will be notified. The student or parent caregiver may retrieve the device from the office at the end of the school day. Second incident of noncompliance, the device will be temporarily confiscated and held at the front office until the end of the school day. Parents or caregivers will be notified. The parent caregiver will retrieve the device from the office at the end of the school day. A major referral will be issued to the student. Third incident of noncompliance, the device will be temporarily confiscated and held at the front office until the end of the school day. Parents and caregivers will be notified. The parent or caregiver will retrieve the device from the office at the end of the school day. A major referral will be issued to the student. Detention will be issued to the student. Beyond a third incident of noncompliance, same consequence from the previous incident applies, plus a meeting between the student, parent, or caregiver and administrator to formulate a plan for improved compliance, which shall include investigating if other student conduct policies have been violated. I would also encourage some language in the policy, and either OSBA or Mr. Corey can help with this, that D21 is in no way liable for the safekeeping of personal electronic devices. Devices are brought on campus at one's own risk. I would also encourage including the language for a warning week during the first week back to school where education and retraining is offered. For example, this school year, that week would be September 2nd through the 5th. And just a brief comment on the first page, the second sentence of the second paragraph. I think we need to consider removing the words "are restricted" from the end of that sentence. But I think that's maybe something Renata and Dr. Bernal can work on. I think it just makes it redundant to the sentence before it. I don't think those two words are required.
Awesome. Katie, thank you. Those are well thought out. And I trust that the middle school folks heard what their program is in some of those recommendations. So I think we have a feel that the OSBA model sample policy may be suitable for other schools who have not tried this, who did not think out their own program and now have to rely on the rulemaking. And that we are different in that we pioneered our own program, and that I think we should align our policy with our success in that program, and that the policy should reflect that. My question is, how do we do it, and how do we start the school year in a good situation, or do we just start pilots and roll with it? I mean, it sounds like the middle school, Caroline, you said the middle school could keep up their pilot, really. I mean, you know, the high school could pilot. What do you think?
If I can just chime in for just 1 second. So there was a really nice letter, a copy that we got tonight from one of the speakers. The letter that was sent home to the parents of middle schoolers at the beginning of last school year, that's part of the rollout. In addition to Parent Square, there can be Facebook.
Get up on that mic, girl.
We just need to start. We just need to send that letter out.
And I did have some questions myself. What is the communication plan in the rollout? Should we be doing that, you know, and want to start at the beginning of years? And can our administrators at each campus adapt something for the start of the year and call it a pilot?
Yes and yes.
All right, let's do it. Yes and yes. I mean, do you want to, just as the leader of the staff, do you want to make that happen, and can you?
Yes, we can. I mean, I believe all of our administrators would appreciate support in enforcing a cell phone policy across the district from day one.
Okay, and
I guess I have we've done this before. I mean, this isn't anything new. Nick Nelson, when he was principal, saw a cell phone, it was gone. And the parent had to come pick it up. And it was real easy, and I mean, they're high school kids, they can read and write, I think. So I don't think it's a problem. We've already implemented it years ago, and teachers just need to know the power they have, that's going to the office or on my desk, it's done.
And I think, I mean, my guess is teachers are more than ready to do that.
Chair Hagee, if I could, just at one point, the executive order does require that policy that's put in place by October 31st give clarity on where the items are to be stored. So I think it makes sense to do that out of the gate. That hasn't been, I think you said it was part of the policy at the middle school, but in order to comply with this, so that we're not having to make a change in October, I think that should be included as part of it.
I think that was campus specific.
Backpacks or lockers.
Yeah, so we could just list out all the potential locations.
I just want to make sure it's included because
Good. Good. Okay, good advice. So we should call out the location of storage per campus. Katie, did you have another item?
No, that it needs to be added to the policy.
Okay. Jose, David, guys?
I did have some comments. And so when I took a read at the language, one of the things that just in general, most of our policies are more broad and kind of big picture and less prescriptive. This, in my mind, very much ventures into the very prescriptive. Obviously, there are some elements that are required by virtue of how the executive order was written. So my thought process was to leave it very loose and then make use of, because naturally there's a trickle down from policy all the way down into student handbooks and such. And that's where a lot of the very specific stuff I think could live. And for example, when I read this and also hearing tonight, the kind of feedback from the pilot program and everything, if we just said, hey, this is the policy, I feel like the pilot program falls within that already with some minor tweaks, related specifically to, where we're storing things in terms of items, and also that, loss of instructional time, right? And my kind of take would be that our pilot program would be compliant with those minor tweaks. And the policy, I don't disagree that it's kind of very, I can't remember the word that was used, but I mean, it's not very stern in any way, but I think that's because then it gives a flexibility by building in kind of primary versus secondary level to have those specific requirements. I just always worry about being too prescriptive in policy and make reservations for that to happen within our administrative rules or regulations and or student and parent handbooks.
Thank you. Director Pauline, did you have comments?
Yeah, I have a couple comments. So one of the first ones, I guess, is the blue. Was that something that like I see it's in the brackets, and I remember something from the training that's something that OSBA kind of just like recommended.
So I'll answer that, David. So the policy, we already have a personal electronic device policy. Right. That's already an existing policy. So the blue language you see is all new language that's being added to our already existing personal electronic device policy, right? And then obviously the struck language is original language that exists in our current policy that is being potentially removed.
Okay, so I feel like there's a couple different ways we could go with this. I feel like that we could let the administration develop a pilot program for the high school, and then we figure out in the next 2 months how to come up with a policy that's loose enough to but compliant with the executive order. Because I'm hearing from the presenters earlier tonight is that what we've prescribed in here won't work. The administrative requirements from it would be too cumbersome, and and I also really agreed with Director Kelly's comments on just being more strict. Like the policy and the training, we've clearly communicated the expectation, and the way that it's written, it just kind of kicks the discipline down the road. So I guess I'm recommending that we have the different levels or grade levels determine what works best for them, and that we figure out how to make a policy that is compliant with the executive order, but also loose enough to allow them to do what they need to do to be successful.
So staff, can we take the time to kind of tweak this policy to reflect our local experience?
Well, I think I'm hearing conflicting things. Yeah, go ahead. So I'm hearing Director Kelly gave us some very prescribed language, proposed prescribed language that I've heard some board members sound like some board are in support of. But I'm also hearing Director Pauline say, but we need to have flexibility for the individual sites to have some autonomy. So, which are we, what direction are you giving staff that you want us to move forward with?
David, can you clarify for us the flexibility? Is that in the storage requirements at each site, but essentially the action plan would be rolled out the same? Or is that not what you're saying?
Yeah, so I guess with the storage site, it sounds to me like the high school has complications where not everybody has lockers and whatnot. So you're going to end up with students that will just have the cell phone on them. So we don't have provisions necessarily right now to accommodate not having the phone on them. And I think that it sounds like that we need to figure out how to address that long term to make it so that we can be more successful like the middle school. So that's kind of why I was saying that it sounds like we really need some flexibility in it until we can accommodate it.
And I'm of the same opinion. Like, I don't know that our policy needs to be super prescriptive. And that should be more downstream, but whether it's an AR or even just in our student handbook. And then in my mind, that's how you would capture the nuances that Director Pauline was just mentioning.
Yes, and I would like to add that that's kind of how I was seeing it in my mind too, is that you capture it in the AR or lower level.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in agreement there.
So I think part of the discussion was Katie's recommendations of the consequences, basically.
Yeah, I think we just need to be prescriptive, whether it's in the policy or in AR.
Mm-hmm.
It's still giving guidance to staff. And I thought what I heard from staff tonight is they want us to be very prescriptive and they want us to be consistent across the district. Because kindergartners can follow the same rules that 8th graders and seniors in high school can. And if we start setting the standard when they enter our district, then it will be the same all the way through. It's not getting more complicated. I understand there's backpacks versus lockers. And if there is no backpack and no locker, maybe it's the teacher or maybe it's the front office. It doesn't need to be complicated.
So how does the board feel about the incorporation of the steps of consequence, incorporating those into this policy? They are a little more specific, although I think they are also the core of the success of the program as well, because they provide clarity at all levels.
And it sounds very similar to what the middle school did.
So while I agree that, storage devices may vary by grade level or campus, all that can be figured out, I would agree that we support a path of consequence. Somebody tell me that why those consequences are bad, I guess. Why they...
I'd like to make a statement. Director Kelly said, it could be as simple as if we don't have lockers, a teacher could have a box and the kids come in and put their phone in the box. It could be as simple as that, just so that they're not on their phone, unless it's one of the ones that have a reason that they have to have their phones. I think we're going down too many rabbit holes.
Right.
I think we need to be simple, because if the teachers have to do the consequences to the students and the phone is right there, there should not be any reason for a phone to be used in the classroom. It should be something that simple.
In 2005, when we implemented it, it was the phone was taken to the office. And if the phone did not show up at the office, well, they were in trouble. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's just draw the line. Otherwise, if we follow the governor's recommendation, we're going to teach them how to count to 3 real quick.
Exactly, I agree. And I think, Dana, I think that we agree on the storage. You know, storage can be general. The storage can be figured out. But I do support the very clear path of consequences. And I wouldn't mind if that was in the policy.
Mr. Corey, since this is a first reading, if we're making recommendations to change or amend the proposed policy, do we need to make a motion for that?
No, we just directed.
No.
There's no action that needs to be taken on the
Okay.
first reading. Staff will come back with proposed language at the second reading.
Sure. So can we ask staff to please consider the recommendation that was made by myself for changing the steps of the discipline action plan? And then we can, and leave that in policy. My recommendation is to leave that in policy because policy is harder to change. And it needs to stay in the policy, not in a handbook and not in an AR. And additionally, the policy can add some language. So you'll notice when I was reading what I was reading, I said shall and will, not may, because may leaves room for inconsistency and room for interpretation. So it's shall and will in the action steps. But we can leave some language that uses may to give flexibility for the storage requirements and also point people to the handbooks that will be more prescriptive at that point. That is my recommendation and my request to staff.
Right. Carolyn, do you think you'll have any objection from your campus leaders to say that, no, I don't want those consequence steps that the middle school used?
I don't know yet.
Okay, well, there you go.
You might. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Also, just a reminder, our staff haven't returned yet. They return next week. So our principals haven't even had the opportunity to engage in these conversations with their staffs and to have those conversations about what does this look like in our school, et cetera. And I was hoping that they would have that opportunity to have those conversations. You know, they may feel differently. I don't know.
I think what we're doing tonight is we're not going to take action. This is a first reading. So we're not going to, there's no cause, there's no action involved in this. We've made recommendations. We've heard great testimony. But I understand the timing. So I think we could probably get some nice feedback when they do come back and start talking about it and get their local feed. And that could then come back around and considered as informing the policy we do adopt.
Sure.
Okay, and David?
I've got.
Yes, an idea that I just wanted to put out there was for instances where there is no storage, I'm recommending that we have some sort of a documentation for the student that says that I don't have a locker or a place to store it, potentially. I don't know what that looks like, but
It's not, yeah. I think we can come up with storage. Jose, you had a thought.
I just wanted to say, Dr. Brall makes a good point about, staff's not fully back yet. Those conversations are, obviously going to happen. This is a topic that's probably on the forefront of many people's minds. And so what I wanted to put out there was, our retreat being here next month would be an opportunity, once those conversations maybe happen in those first couple of weeks and kind of hear just some lessons learned about, how those first weeks have been going and have a little more or a continued discussion essentially as part of the retreat that we can kind of help inform before we have our second reading the following week.
That'll be an excellent plan and an excellent timing. I think it sets us up well for the policy. And Carolyn, I think we can wrap up this discussion by saying go out and pilot the heck out of the cell phone policies. And yeah. Is that okay?
Yes, I still don't feel like staff has clear direction, however, in terms of what you want us to communicate to parents in terms of consequences, because I'm still hearing different things. So
Go ahead, David.
Would it be helpful if we adopted what Director Kelly suggested as what we're going to add to the policy as a board?
Maybe we just need, I mean, we're not taking action, we're not voting, we're not passing anything. But maybe we could take just a poll. Do we all, just a consensus poll that as directors, do we support the consequences that Director Kelly listed that are also a mirror of the Dallas Middle School pilot? Do we all support that? And you can just like raise your hand. If I say, yeah, I would like it to be more clear, and I think that clarity would apply at all grade levels.
So I would support that. I think the letter that the middle school sent out last year is a really good template for communicating to parents. I think explaining that OSBA just updated their recommendation 1 week ago.
Yeah.
That we're having a meeting tonight, that we're continuing to discuss it, and that we're going to finalize it within the next 2 months, but to expect that this is what will be happening,
Right.
And to lay out what I had presented. I think it's okay to communicate that it may shift a little bit, but this is the target and this is the expectation day one. I think it's clear as day.
Thank you. Kramer, so I understand. Okay, so that's in support, that's a pro for the whole consequence. Director Jones, also, myself. Okay, Dana also likes the letter. Do you have, I mean, we're all under a time crunch, it's a little bit funny, but does the district feel like they have a communication plan or they could put one together quickly to execute?
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Do you have unresolved questions, Carolyn?
I do not.
Okay,
But
well,
I guess the only thing I will say is that principals will be meeting with staff next week and having these conversations, and we may have additional feedback for you.
that's great, and we expect that, and I understand, I think that the policy, was the policy at the middle school developed by your staff? So I appreciate the level of ownership you had, and I trust that your teachers at the other campuses will understand the logic of how you came to that, because they're teachers too, and that maybe they'll seek your counsel as well. That's fantastic. I would love to start the school year with some more pilot programs at all levels, and trust that the district will communicate well to parents and set the expectation with the students, and that the expectations would be very clear, and clear is kind, and so I think that's appropriate. Thank you for your work on this, Katie, very much. That was our last item of business.
I'm sorry, Chair Hagee. Director Kelly, can you please send that to me?
Yes.
Yes, you will. Yay. Okay.
And just a clarification question. Well, obviously, Dr. Bernal, for you, we'll have that language reviewed to make sure it complies with anything else that we have.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we can be done here, so I am going to adjourn the meeting. Meeting is adjourned at 8:05. Thank you, everybody, for attending.